mark are highlighted in blue. Now, for a couple of them, I allowed you to have imperial numbers in decimals. You're welcome to have them. All these are worth 1 for a total of 9. Mark your work. Move the mouse. Oh, yeah. All of these are only worth 1 because it was only one calculation for almost all of them. Now, you can see in number 2, you never had milligrams to ounce. You had ounces to grams. So in your head, you switch milligrams to grams by moving 3 decimal places, like millimeters to meters. Don't bother trying to copy down the right answers. Tick or X, because this is recorded. Questions? Excellent. I will accept a range of answers for this. Anywhere from 4 5/8 to 4 3/4. But the best answer is 4 11/16. And I will accept anywhere between 8 9/16 and 8 11/16 because the answer is 8 5/8. Yeah? Yeah. And lastly, my good friend Billy is going to need 10.5. I said round to the nearest tenth. But remember, if the paint is sold by the liter, he has to round that up. What if it came out to 10.2? I still need to buy the 11th liter, right? And that's worth 4 to figure all that out. Does anybody want to talk about that one? The key that most kids forget about that is right there. They forget that it's times 3 coats. So you got to paint the walls thrice. Huh? Yes. Addison.
Where was the question for 20 and 21? Like, was there a word question? Or I don't see a ruler here.
Yeah, you had to do the distance of them.
Oh, I see. Oh, whoops. 13.
So that page out of 15. Good? Good? All right. Four each. 2 for the surface area, 2 for the volume, 2 for the surface area, 2 for the volume. I am expecting that you will be asking about these. You really shouldn't because you've done this exact question already. Okay, so in that case, you would have to do this. You would need to get the height of the triangle, wouldn't you? Yeah. So if I draw that line, what happens to 8? That becomes 4 because it's cut in half, right? Yeah. What's that? 5. What's that? A right angle, yes? Yeah. I've just made this triangle, 4, 5 with a right angle. How long is that? 3. Has to be 3. Pythagoras. Right? So, you have this side, which is how big? How big is this pink side? 20 by 5, and there's 2 of them, right? So 5, 2 times 5 times 20. That's the pink. How big's the green? And there's 2 of them. So 2 by 4 by 20. And that's the green. How many yellas? Times 2. So that's 2 by 8 by 4. That's the yellas. What's the bottom? There's only one of them though, right? So 8 by 20. And then the only thing left are these triangles, which we now know is there's 2 of them, right? So triangle, 2 times base times height divided by 2, right? What happens to the 2's? Cancel. So that triangle, which I will color, what color am I missing? Blue. That is just base 8 times height 3. And then you add it all up and you get 608. Volume, as always, what's the volume of every single prism in the entire universe? Base area times height. What's the base of any prism? The shape that repeats. Doesn't that shape repeat right back here? Doesn't it? So doesn't that make this the base? So if I know that area and I multiply by 20, don't I have it? Well, isn't that area 8 by 4 plus 8 by 3 divided by 2, which is 12. 8 by 3 divided by 2, which is 12. So 8 times 4 is 32, plus 12 is 44, times 20. And that gets you 880, which is what we have there. 2 for each. This one, surface area. I gave you a trick to do this, but there's lots of ways to do it. I do the whole surface area and I subtract 9 times 2 times 2, because 9 by 2 is what's missing, right? That roof is still there. That side is still there. The only thing missing is that rectangle, the green one, and there's 2 of them. So for surface area here, I go to LW, 8 by 18, plus 8 by 4, plus, what am I missing? 8 by 4, 8 by 18. Oh, and 4 by 18. 18, and then I subtract out 2 by 9 times 2. And that gets me 460. Volume, it's a prism. Volume of all prisms is area of the base times the height. So you would find this area, which is 9 by 4, which is 36, and this area, which is 9 by 2, which is 18, which is 54 times 8. Surface area is all I wanted here. Pi r, 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Fill in your numbers. It's still worth 4 because almost everybody forgets that there's 2 circles. I will accept either 200 pi or 628 point blah. Did anybody get number 31 right? Did anybody even try number 31?
No.
For the and what'd you get? Did you get 1.79?
No.
No? Okay.
I did 9.
You got 1.79.
Yes.
Shut up your
Me
face.
and my friend worked on it, and we did it.
Nice. Go get 10 gummy bears.
Cool.
Who's your friend?
Shih
Oh, yeah, okay. Shiju didn't show me his. He's in the other class. He didn't show me his one.
He said you guys aren't marking it today. Or you guys didn't mark today.
Oh, that's true. We didn't. But Jordy and Raj showed me theirs. Nice job.
No.
Because it's December or January and it's minus 10 out. This is nothing. You should come to Chilliwack. Looks like I better get some more gummy bears. Especially with the end of the semester coming up. I'm going to have to pay people out. All right. It's a crazy difficult question. Maybe we'll come back to it if we have some time. This one's out of 4 because I wanted the net and the answer. That's what a cone looks like. There's the 2 answers. I will accept either one. 2,714 point blah. Yeah. And the volume and surface area of a sphere, 29,269.33 pi, or 3,136 pi, or something like 11,000, something like 91,000. I don't care. And that's it. Making the whole thing out of 8 and 12 is 20, 35. Yeah, because one of them required you to do work and draw a net. This one required you to do 2 things. Which one? Did you write this in properly?
11, 15.
Well, did you write something like this right? Because it's entirely possible to get the wrong answer because you're bad with your calculator. It's out of 35. 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Math. Rah, rah, rah. Addy. Rah, rah, rah.
For number 3, can you do pi diameter squared?
For what?
Pi diameter squared?
For what?
For 3 to 3.
For surface area or volume.
Surface area.
Yeah?
So I did that, and I got 9,846.04.
For surface area?
Can you just show me how you do it?
Surface area is pi times 56 squared. 56 squared is 2,500 times... Wait a minute. Is it pi d squared? I can never remember. I thought it was out of 35. Yeah, pi d squared. So... Oops, wrong one. So pi d squared, surface area, is pi times 56 squared. 56 squared is 3,136.
Yeah, okay. With the little pi button,
Yeah.
why do you have to put the pi behind the number?
Because if you don't, 3,136 isn't the right answer. It's 3,136 times pi.
Okay.
But we don't I don't like to use that because in the future in math class you won't be putting a bunch of decimals. You'll leave it like that.
On your calculator, did you see the little pi symbol?
On your calculator, most of your calculators will have a pi symbol somewhere. 3,136 pi
Oh,
What's trigonometry, you ask?
is...
Trigonometry.
Oh, it's not 11,000. Sorry. It's 9,852.
that's the one I got.
I just did that in my head.
Blue screen again.
No, it's on the blue screen of death up there. Are we all Gouda?
Cheese.
Excellent. We will be writing this test.
Tomorrow.
No, tomorrow's short day. We'll have to write it Friday.
I thought you were telling us what test.
I wasn't supposed to, damn it.
No, I don't know.
Way to trick me. What? Wednesday next week? Oh, tomorrow's Wednesday. I'm such an idiot. I thought today was Wednesday. Today's Tuesday. Thursday's a short day. We'll have our test tomorrow.
Why did you say that?
I'm still talking. I got names, okay? Wait, so this is Tuesday.
All right.
What day is it?
It's Tuesday today.
Well, my phone says it's Tuesday, and then I slide down and look at it.
All right. Turn to your next page, which is trigonometry.
And then it's the first page of trigonometry. Pythagoras.
Yeah. Yeah. End of class. Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen. A fairly weird thing goes on in the 9th grade, and I don't really know why. Yes, in the 9th grade. How many of you in the 9th grade did some trigonometry?
Possibly. Hooch.
1, 2.
I don't remember what it is. I think I did. We didn't do it.
Right? But some of you did do a bit of it. So I am going to be going ahead with this as if nobody has done anything.
Okay.
All right?
I don't know if I have done anything.
Well, it might come back to you a little if you have. So, you people. But today, we won't actually get to trigonometry. Today, we will be doing the basics, the basis of trigonometry. All right, so I believe it is page 230. And 230 should say, no, you're not saying it right. No, you're still not saying it right.
Oh, duh.
Pythagoras.
Ah, you guys, look at the font.
Trigonometry.
That's not the name of the font. It's not the Jumanji font. It's the Star Wars font. So now look at how that's written.
Oh, I thought you meant the one like on 229. No, never mind. I see that one. That one's Star Wars. The one before that looks like
Now look at how it's written.
What? We can't see the screen.
It's on your page in front of you.
Oh, I thought you wrote like Star
It's-
Wars.
the backwards Yoda.
It's Yoda, so how should you read that?
You must know that.
No, the Pythagorean theorem must you know.
Well, you would. That's how Yoda.
Oh, damn it. The theorem Pythagorean must you know.
I'm gonna write.
Can you read the entire thing back?
If there's any word question, I expect them to be.
You guys can barely do word problems when they're written regular.
That's rude, but
All right. Okay. We're going to do a little bit of work with Pythagoras. Not much because we've already done a bit. But, like I say, Pythagoras is the basis for trigonometry. So you have to be actually pretty good at it. Now, all of you have been taught this. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I hate it. It drives me up the wall. Because if I change the letters, kids say they can't do it anymore. Or worse, I draw a triangle like this, and I say C, A, B. And I tell you to tell me how long the hypotenuse is. And you tell me that it's C, and you say this side is longer than that side. And you hand it in to me. It happens all the time. It's going to happen on this test. When I give you the test on trig, you are going to have some of you telling me that this side is longer than this side. You're going to do it. And I'm not even going to mess around and put ABC on there. You're just going to tell me that. Okay? So I don't like to use A squared, B squared, C squared, but I put it there because that's what you all hear. I like to remind you of this a different way. The hypotenuse, what do you know about the hypotenuse?
It's the longest one.
It's the longest side. How do you know that without measuring? That's what I'm looking for. The hypotenuse is always. Please put a Mrs. Bad Crumble cloud, highlight, underline, whatever your grade 4 teacher did to make you notice something. The hypotenuse is always. Now, Jacqueline, I liked your word there, across. In trig, though, we don't use the word across. We use the word opposite. Opposite means across the shape. All right? So, it's always opposite the right angle. How do you know which is the right angle? It's got that little jobby right there. If that wasn't there, if that wasn't there, is that a 90-degree triangle anymore? No, it isn't. Now let me ask you this. What if I were to draw a triangle like this? And I put the 90 there. Is that a 90-degree triangle?
Yeah.
Why? What makes that 90 degrees?
90 degrees.
That symbol being there.
Yes.
Because sometimes you got to draw a perspective. Your 90 degrees don't look like 90 degrees. Everybody cool? Yeah? Okay. The legs are the other two sides. And they are interchangeable. You can make one of them A, one B. Now, all of you, C, A, B. That's how you want to write it. Or maybe you want to write it A, B. I don't care. But the point that you need to remember is, no matter what the letters are, that side is C. Alright? I like to teach this as leg squared plus leg squared equals the hypotenuse squared. Because then there's no specifying which is A and which is B. You know it's just that one and that one. Everybody cool? That's how my grade 7 teacher taught it to me. Except he said, if you can't remember the word hypotenuse, you can just remember the word hippopotamus. Didn't help me. I wrote hippopotamus on my test. Mr. Bailey still marked it wrong. I know. I've got some distance from it now, Gers, so I'm okay with it. But for a long time, I was pretty resentful of Mr. Bailey.
I think we should try to see what happens here.
Take your chances. All right. It would be hippopotamus-like for you to mark that wrong. All right. Okay.
That hurt my soul.
Now, without doing it, without actually touching your calculator, write what you would do to tell me how big X is. Go. Yep. No touching your calculator. I want to see what you would do. Now, how many of you wrote this? Of course you did. Did I want to know what x squared was? No. What did I want to know? What x was. So what do I need to do? Addie? Square root of 8 squared plus 15 squared equals x. Now, stop for a second. Is what I wrote in black the same as this.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Yes.
Jacqueline?
It's not the same.
It's not the same, is it?
No.
Because what's the square root of 8 squared? 8. What's the square root of 15 squared?
15.
And isn't 8 plus 15 23? But this is not 23, is it? What is it?
46.
It's actually 17. 17. What? All right? Yes. You're flying too close to the sun on Greek wings, right?
I don't understand that one. Yeah.
You don't understand that?
No.
Daedalus and Icarus. Icarus wanted to fly, so he made wings out of wax. Then he flew too close to the sun, and the wings melted, and he plummeted to his death in the Aegean Sea.
We all have a weird childhood.
Flight of Icarus. It's also one of Iron Maiden's greatest songs. How do you people even get up in the morning? I bet not even one of you shed a tear at the death of the Rush drummer either.
Yes,
I did too.
well, I didn't actually cry.
All right. What's different in B? Again, write out what you should write. This time, do it right.
You have to add it together. That doesn't equal 17. You said it equals 17, so I'm very confused.
64 plus 225 is 289. The square root of 289 is 17.
How do you do? He's so smart in that.
There. Happy? Now, what do you got to do with B? Jacqueline.
The square root of x squared plus 8 squared equals 12.
Square root of x squared plus 8 squared would equal 12. Okay, that doesn't tell me x, though.
Excuse me.
Addison. Oh, Addison's got both hands up. He's ready to go.
Okay. So square root thing over top of,
Yeah.
12 squared minus 8 squared equals x.
There you go.
He's smart.
That's 4 square root of 5.
So that is 144 minus 64 equals x. 144 minus 64 is the root of 80 equals x. And root of 80 is almost the root of 81. So it'll be around 8.9. 144. 12 squared.
I don't know.
You do know what 12 squared is. 144. All right. Now listen to me carefully. Look at this drawing, example 2a. Tell me how you would go about finding the value of x. Don't write anything down. Talk to your neighbor. Make sure you're doing it right, because 2 brains are better than 1. I will wait about 30 seconds, and then we'll talk. I just want you to talk about it. Because nobody knows who Neil Peart is. Except you, apparently.
Just speak twice.
So square root over the 35 squared
He said what he said, and then he said
He was 67.
I have rhymer ability.
Mine is with all of the
The way I started to like rush was the trailer park boys and they keep kidnapping.
Alex Lifeson. All right. Addison, what would you do? Listen, please. Wait, Addison. Wait. This is difficult for kids to describe, so I'm going to draw some colors on here so you can talk about the sides of the triangle that you would use to do what you want to do.
I think I did it wrong.
Okay, Addison, what would you do?
First, I start with making one of those square root things over top, and then I do 35 squared times 20 squared equals whatever.
Times?
Equals. Currently, I'm going to put x there.
Times.
Yes.
There's no
Plus.
right angle there.
Plus.
35 plus?
Yeah. Oh, there's no right angle. Never mind. I don't know what I'm doing.
Addison's out the window. Who's got another idea?
So, to me, the drawing says that the orange one is the same as the green one.
Where does the drawing say that?
Well, it doesn't say it, but it looks the same. So
It looks the same.
I assume.
Oh, I see. So you've made an assumption,
Yeah.
making an ass out of you and umption.
Yes.
You're out the window. You have been defenestrated, which is a real word, ladies and gentlemen. If you throw something out a window, you defenestrate it.
If I could fit out the window, I'd already do it there.
Brody. Brody says he will cut the larger triangle in half.
And the 10 centimeter height will be the height you can use to find the...
You say that's 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Then what?
And you can use Pythagoras theorem by cutting the bottom in half there to find...
How do you know the bottom's cut in half?
You can cut the triangle in half there.
Well, how do you know that's cut in half? What if this is not 90 degrees?
Oh, yeah, I see. No, that'd be great.
You're out the window. Defenestrated. Dun, dun, dun. Now, you guys think that's funny? One of the bloodiest wars in European history was started because somebody's diplomat was thrown out a window to his death in Prague in 1618. The defenestration of Prague
Mr. Myron, that's not very nice.
started the 30 Years' War.
Ooh, that's a lot of years.
It's a right angle because it's the exact same.
What's exactly the same?
Well, half of that triangle is.
How do you know it is? It looks like it. Jacqueline. Yes, but how do you know that cuts that in half? If I drew this triangle and drew a 90 degrees there, does that cut this in half? Okay, I'm going to stop discussion now because Braden, even though he was defenestrated, on the way down he went, there's not a right angle. Splat. Because there isn't a right angle here. You cannot do any amount of Pythagoras with that. Because there's no right angle. You don't get to assume there's a right angle. Now, if I put that there, could you do it easily now?
Yes.
Right? Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
Right? What if I told you that? Could you do it now?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Because that makes these two the same, right? Which makes these two the same. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the point is, you can't go out and just say what you want to make the question work for you. Okay? So knowing what you know now, if that was 90, what would you do to tell me what x is? Addison.
Well, I'd go down the middle.
You would still do this?
I believe so.
But why? You were right the first time. Isn't this now a right angle triangle?
Yes.
So can't we do Pythagoras there?
Yeah.
Okay. So that means I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call this y. Is everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So y equals the square root of 35 squared minus 20 squared, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to get me y.
Yeah. And now you do y. With the root over top of it, y squared minus 10 squared equals x.
Yeah. Y squared, so this squared minus 100, because that's 10 squared, would get me x, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. Good job, everyone. Now, it doesn't matter what the answer is. Can you do h?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can.
No.
Yes, you can, dude.
No.
I feel like the line.
Why not, Braden? He's clawing his way back up the wall.
Because there's two variables that you don't know, and you also don't have a right angle.
Still don't have a right angle.
You can find out the small triangle, and then I'll give you another side.
Could we find this side?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Okay. How does that help me here?
You can see if it's the same.
How?
Now wait. If this was exactly the same as this,
Then you could.
could that help you?
Yes.
Because then you would know, then you could drop that down.
Yeah.
Because you would be splitting this in half, wouldn't you?
Yep.
But first you would have to find out if that was 25. Is it? What's 10 squared?
100.
What's 20 squared?
400.
Are you sure?
What's 100 plus 400?
500.
What's the square root of 500?
60.
No. It's not 25.
It was 20.
It's about 22.3.
So we can't do that.
Wait, then what is the square root of 25?
Now, ladies and gentlemen,
It's 22.3.
if I added this, could you do it?
Yes.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
Then you could do it easily. If I added, could I do this?
No.
No.
What if I did that, but took away the 25?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
What's the point of this discussion? Don't just, oh, this has to be this. Now, there's some blank space down here, right?
Yeah. Ish. Brain shut. No one cares.
Is that a right angle triangle?
We don't know. We haven't done.
Hmm?
We don't.
By looking at it, can you tell me if that's a right angle triangle? No, why not?
Because
There's no right angle.
There's no little right angle symbol. But if it was a right angle triangle, what would be true? The Pythagorean theorem would be true. 12 squared plus 9 squared would equal 15 squared. What's 12 squared?
144.
Plus what's 9 squared?
81.
What's 15 squared? 225. Is 144 and 81 225?
Yes.
Yes. So because that works, because we proved it, are we allowed to come back here and do that?
Yes.
Yes. Everybody understand? It works both ways. If the 90 degree is there, then Pythagoras is true. If Pythagoras is true, then the 90 degree is there. Are we cool?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey.
Turn the page over.
Dashing through.
Is your bottom triangle upside down like this? Good, it is. So we're going to do a bit of work just with the top triangle right now. Couple of rules about how we label triangles. 1, angles are labeled with caps. A, B, C. Now, some textbooks and probably the way you were taught when you were younger, was you had to do all 3 points. CAB. You would say this angle was angle CAB, right? Or you might call it angle BAC. What do you notice is the same about both ways of naming that angle? Addison?
The middle one is the same.
The middle one, the vertex, is capital A. So in grade 10, we just call that angle A with a capital. Everybody cool? Everybody okay? All right. And we would name this triangle by the corners. So this would be triangle, and I know you all want to name them ABC. ABC, right? Everyone agree? All right. Now, you're not dumb kids. Triangles are made up of 3 angles and 3 sides. The sides also need names. Sides, as you already know, are labeled with little letters. And this is where it gets a bit tricky. The side gets its name from the opposite angle. What does opposite mean in trig? Across. So this is a side, right? What angle is it across from? A. So we write little a there. Everybody cool? What will I write here? Little c. What will I write here? Little b. I used to have a girlfriend. Her name was Lilith. But I called her Lil-ith. Little-ith. Because before she was my girlfriend, I just liked her. And because I was 15, I did what all 15-year-old boys do when they like a girl. I bugged her. Threw rocks at her. Threw sand on her sandwiches at the beach. Pushed her off a dock. You know, that type of stuff. Right?
Dog slept her brother.
Okay.
Just throw rocks.
It's a figure of speech, Rylan. I did not throw rocks at her, but I bugged her so she would pay attention to me. Now, all the guys are going, I never do nothing. I don't do that. Meanwhile, all the women in the class going, yeah, they do. Don't worry, ladies. We grow out of it. I grew out of it when I was about 20. But of course, I moved out when I was 18. All these guys be living at home till they're 30. So add 12 years to when they grow out of it. They should grow out of it around when they're 34. So when you meet guys that are about 34, that's when they'll stop bugging you to get your attention. 30. I hope you don't too. But I'm just kidding. You can live at home as long as you want, man. No shame. You're going to live at home less than 30? You're going to move out before you're 30? All right. Well, no, because if it's anything like my house, my son's got to move out at 18, but my daughter can live there as long as she wants. No, it isn't. All right. All this is a joke. Everyone relax. None of it's true. I'm just doing a bit. Or am I?
Dun, dun, dun.
All the girls like he's not doing a bit. All the guys like he's doing a bit.
Oh, that was so fun.
All right. So anyway. I want all of you now to label the big triangle on the bottom. Go. Put the sides on it. And then, listen carefully, name it properly. And we will see how many people do that right. You'll see. You should be able to figure it out from what I did. What letter am I going to write right here?
Lowercase d.
Lil D.
Lil D.
What letter am I going to write here?
Lil F.
Lil F. What letter am I going to write here?
Lil E.
Lily. And Lily was in my class last block. It was funny. All right. Now, what is this triangle's name?
Triangle with D.
No.
D E F. D E F. Def.
D-E-F. Why do you say that?
Because it goes in alphabetical order.
It goes in alphabetical order, but we already named ABC, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Look again. From A, where did I go? Over to B. Along the longest side, yes?
Yeah.
And I started from the pointiest point, right?
Yeah.
Where's the pointiest point on this triangle?
F.
So I got to start at F. And then I got to go along the longest side, which takes me to where?
E.
E. And then where?
D. Fed.
All right.
The feds are coming for you.
Everybody cool?
What?
Jacqueline.
Couldn't side D also be labeled FE?
I'm getting to that. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
you will also see these named by their corners. Like this could be FE or EF. But I won't do that. I use small letters. Okay? Now, normally we would do a bunch of work with this stuff, but, excuse me, we're a little bit short on time this year, so I'm going to cut to the chase. I'm going to shrink this down a little so you can see it all on one screen. Now, you're intelligent young people. I'm going to draw 3 colors on the big triangle.
Only see in 2
Purple,
dimensions. I can't
green,
see
and
colors
orange.
yet. Brown. Oh.
Which side on the big triangle would you use to compare to the little triangle?
Purple.
Which side on the big triangle would you compare to A on the littlest side on the little triangle?
I'm pretty sure the right answer is blue, but I want to do purple.
What's the littlest side on the big on the little triangle? A. So what side is that on the big triangle? F.
Oh, I was right.
So A can be compared to F. Everybody with me? And if I did that division, I would get a number. Agreed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to say that A equals 2 and F equals 5. So now what would this fraction be? 2 over 5. Agreed?
Yes.
Now, these triangles are similar because they have the exact same angles.
Yes.
Now, what happens now is this fraction is the same for all the comparisons. So what does E compare to on the little triangle? B.
That's 4.
And what must that fraction be? 2/5, right? Everyone agree?
Why is it 2/5?
Because 2 over 5, they got to be the same. So if I told you this was 6,
That would be
what would E be? 2 over 5 would have to equal 6 over what?
Wait, no.
Oh, sorry, I did it backwards. E is what I don't know. B is 6.
2.5.
What?
2.5.
Absolutely right.
I'm so smart.
Everybody understands why?
Yeah.
If triangle angles are the same, it doesn't matter how long the sides are because if you compare them, you will always get the same fraction. Everybody cool? That is why trig works. That is why Pythagoras works. That's why 3, 4, 5 is the same as 6, 8, 10. Everybody cool? Addie.
What if the top triangle has different dimensions than the bottom one?
What do you mean by different
Like
dimensions?
it's shaped differently. Like
Then they're not similar. They would have to have the same angles.
same angles. Okay.
Everybody cool? Now, you can skip the next page because that's everything I just said was that page. All right, is everybody good? I want 233 and 234 done by when? No.
Friday.
No. Thursday. Because what's tomorrow? I don't tell you when your tests are,
The test is tomorrow, everybody.
but I already screwed up and told you that.
Yep. So this page and the page after.
234 or 233, 234. Rylan, you will write your review score on your test tomorrow.
Follow me on Instagram. I don't have Instagram. I was trying to pick it up on the mic.
It will have picked it up.
Okay.
The mic is sensitive.
We leave. Just like
Sometimes you have to talk to it nicely. Yeah, I already was doing that.